Well, welcome to the last tutorial for the Bistro site. This one's going to be a little bit shorter, but nevertheless very important. In the last video, we talked about the importance of naming documents. So I'm going to begin right now on page 50, which talks about renaming the documents and the importance of titling them as well. So right in the middle of page 50, we start with stage 3, naming and titling documents, and then renaming pages for search engines. I had mentioned to you before that menu 1 and menu 2 were not good names, so we're going to rename them in this one over here. So right now we have the Bistro site is open. Now, it is important when you're renaming a menu item or just a file in general that you have that file closed. It can cause some issues with that. So especially you may even get an error, may not rename it properly. You may get two versions. So to be on the safe side, just make sure that you have it closed, which we do over here. So what it's going to tell us over here is we're going to click on menu item 1 and to select it and then click again. I'm not a big fan of that. I'd rather just click on it and hit F2. That does the same thing in there. If you work with Windows Explorer, you'll notice that in File Explorer, you'll notice that you can do the same thing over here. So what it does, it tells us to rename it as lunch menu. And then I'm just going to hit the enter key, and that takes care of that. Very important. Make sure that you choose update. If you don't, it's still going to point to menu 1. So let's click on update. That will take care of that. And then we're going to do the same thing with the dinner menu. So I'll click on it here. I'm going to hit F2 and I'm going to type dinner menu. Now notice that the HTML, the extension is not highlighted, so you don't have to worry about it. Just type in dinner menu. And if by accident you do delete it, you can just type that back in yourself. So again, we're going to type in update, and we're good with that. So I've now just finished number 4, and we're obviously going to go to the next thing. So I want to talk a little bit about naming conventions. You can name your files anything that you want, and you can see that valid things are A through Z, 0 through 9, a hyphen or underscore. I highly recommend, and in this course, we're going to be using all lowercase letters and either the underscore or the hyphen. Be consistent. Notice that we have lunch hyphen menu and dinner hyphen menu. Then you should always use a hyphen. If we did lunch underscore menu and dinner underscore menu, then you should always use an underscore. And the reason being is some sites are case sensitive. If you're on a Linux server, Unix, Apache, all of them are case sensitive, which means a lowercase L is not the same as an uppercase L. So if you want to be consistent, just make everything lowercase and you will not have to worry about it. The only exception that I have is if you use the name Jesus and he deserves a capital J, but that's totally up to you and however you feel. So we're going to move on over here. Now notice on the right hand side of page 51, it tells you things that you cannot have, such as spaces and special characters. So we're going to not have to worry about that. Just remember, use all lowercase letters and either a hyphen or an underscore. So now we're going to have document titles. Again, we talked about that before. So we're going to open up the index, which is right here. I'm going to get rid of this and I'm going to go to index. And I'm going to deviate a little bit from the book. Index does not seem to want to open. And finally, there we go. Now notice that at the very bottom here where it says untitled document, and up here it says untitled document, they are the same thing. You can change it in either one. So for right now, I'm going to put untitled document 2. And as soon as I hit refresh, notice that it changes it here. So then I'm going to get rid of the 2 here. And this time, as soon as I hit the enter key, boom. Now, if you're changing up here, do not hit the enter key. Just click somewhere else outside. If you hit the enter key, it's going to insert a blank line in the actual title itself. So we have all untitled documents. So what we're going to do now is we're going to actually replace all of the untitled documents with Frank and Berman, Fresh Bistro, Lancaster, California. So just to do that, just click on Find. And we're going to do Find and Replace Files. You have an option, Find in the current document, Replace in the current document, so on. Here you have Find All and Select. There's all different ways of doing things. However, in this particular case, we're going to use Find, and we're going to replace the files in the entire site. Notice that it had already filled this in because I had done this before, and since I'm working on a computer, that it's going to keep that in there. So everything, all the settings that you do are cached on your local computer. When you do this, I doubt very seriously if it's going to have anything in here. So we're going to replace untitled document, and it's there because I remember the last time I've done this. We want to do the entire current local site. Now notice that it has title here. I put that there, and the reason being, since we're going to use replace all, that you might replace something that you don't want to for some reason or other. You might have something in there that says untitled document. So we're only going to do stuff in the title. The book doesn't tell you that, but I'm just giving you a little extra hints over here. I'm going to click on replace all, and the operation cannot be undone in documents that are not currently open. How exciting is that? Are you sure? Which means that about, events, and the menus cannot be undone because they're already there in close. Here we can because it's open on the index, so we're going to choose yes, and boom, it took care of all that in one time. You don't have to go back in and do anything individually. So that takes care of number 8, and then we'll go into number 9. Says examine the title and the property and press code again to open a file index, which we've already done. So notice that we have here, I'm going to close this over here. There is a shortcut to close it. However, if you don't want to remember the shortcut, then all you have to do is click over here and choose close group. That takes care of that. So now in the index file, we're going to click over here. Click anywhere in the index file. Notice that it has been changed. So moving along, that was page 53. We are now into the thing. The shortcut is Control right click in there. However, I'm not very good at shortcuts. I can remember about 10 of them, and there's 8 million. So I do things the old-fashioned way. If you have a better memory than I do, then you don't have to worry about that stuff. So in here now, we are going to click on the end of the existing page title to replace it. I'm not a big fan of doing it here. You can. I would prefer to do it in the actual title. Now, don't worry about the fact that the title, opening and closing tags are in a different color. They appear to be highlighted. Nothing is going to change when you type it in. So here it wants us to type in gourmet casual dining. So I'll just type in gourmet casual dining. Now again, do not hit the enter key. Let's just click on refresh, and boom, if we go here, notice that it has it in here. So I'll click over here just to make sure I don't do anything wrong. Then it wants us to open up about and add hours and contact information. So I'll open up about, and I will change this here to hours and contact information. Click on refresh. You know, again, let me remind you, don't hit the enter key. Then we have events. Is going to be special events. Let's click on that, and we'll type in special event facilities. refresh. Then dinner and lunch menu. So we'll open up our menus. I'll do lunch menu first since it happens to be first. And we'll just do lunch menu. Hopefully I spelled that right. And then we'll do dinner menu. And there it is. Takes care of that. So now I'm going to just click on this icon up here, which looks like a double file folder and an arrow. That saves everything all at one time. If you take a look at page 55, you see all of your find and replace options. You can go on that, over that on your own. Now we talked about cloaking in one of our other videos, and that's just hiding files from automatically uploading to the server, such as Photoshop files and Adobe Illustrator files. You may or may not want your documents up there. I highly recommend never uploading a Word document because then somebody can physically change that very easily. So I always convert them to PDFs and then upload that.